Since a new season just has started today, I wanted to provide some builds for every single role for you to have a bit of an easier time to climb back up, and in general just give my opinion on what I currently think are the best Pokemon for you to play. So first up, around us, a good old classic is Urshifu, of course, with the Surging Strikes build, and we go Razor Claw, Attack Weight, and Muscle Band, or Weakness Policy, both are totally fine. I will no longer recommend the Black Emblem build necessarily too much, because having 6 brown and 6 white emblems just is way too good to not go for it, right? If you want to play the 7 black, 4 brown one, you're still totally fine as well, but 6 brown, 6 white feels superior now. Muscle Band as well, Weakness Policy, or Focus Band are all fine last items. And then for the better item, we either play Full Heal or Shedinja Doll. I think Shedinja Doll absolutely works on this Pokemon very well as well. Up next, we have Zacian. Yeah, I'm suggesting Zacian. I mean, it's now a Pokemon at this point where I think it's like it has to be part of the game, right? Like, it has been nerfed to the point where it's still very, very strong, but not overly just destroying the game, right? So Sacred Sword Agility is by far the best build. Metaclaw is awful. I would never recommend Metaclaw. And for health items, Muscle Band, only in Scope Lens with either Razor Claw or Muscle Band as the second item. And then for battle item, we either go Eject Button or Shedinja Doll or Full Heal. All of those are totally fine options. Eject Button allows you to Eject Button in for Sacred Swords. And then Shedinja Doll allows you for getting your cooldowns back up faster. And Full Heal obviously allows you to, you know, just not get stunned or CC'd to death in like one instance, right? And then for emblems, you can either play 6 brown, 6 white based on crit, or just the normal basic page that has the minus special attack reducer. Next up, we have a Dragonite, which I know got nerfed, but I think the buffs on the latest patch I got before this one was so good still that I think it's still totally a strong Pokemon for you to pick. Dragon Dance and Hyper Beam with Muscle Band, Scope Lens, and either you go Razor Claw or Focus Band, which one of those two are totally fine. You can even try Attack Weight, but Attack Weight is more like a for fun item more than anything else. And then for battle item, I would mostly always recommend Full Heal. And since we run Scope Lens, you can either go for a crit emblem based page, or just again for the minus special attack reduce one. Something I will probably talk about a lot in this video is that one page. Next up, Lucario. I know Lucario is still quite questionable, it just got buffed, but I do think if you play a good Lucario, it's something you can 1% consider again, with Power Punch and Close Combat, Attack Weight, Weakness Policy, and either Energy Amplifier, Float Stone, or Muscle Band as the third one. Energy Amp not very good. With the buffed Unite move, makes it much easier for you to secure objectives. And then for battle item, we play either Slow Smoke or X Attack, I would recommend. X Attack makes your Unite move with Energy Empty crazy damage, and then Slow Smoke allows you to keep your targets in close combat or inside of your Unite move. And as emblems, 6 brown, 6 white with the minus special attack 1. I'm not really going to suggest Extreme Speed, even though it's also, I think, quite good now again, just because it's a very difficult build to play. If you're someone who's very good at Extreme Speed Lucario, you can just go ahead and start playing it again. Next up, we head into the attacker role, and Inteleon, I think, is currently probably the best attacker, not just probably, I think it is the best attacker Pokemon. And now with the buff Face Stinger, I had a video about it earlier today. If you haven't seen this video yet, go check it out. Face Stinger after the buff feels absolutely amazing, even in Liquidation. You can still totally go Acrobatics as well, but Face Stinger, it felt amazing. Like, playing it today, you did so much damage because you get so many more crit, or heck, this passive, you get so many more crit counters, or whatever it's called, and you can just auto-attack for crazy amounts of damage throughout the entire game, and you have a lot of mobility. Spoon, Vice Glasses, and Choice Specs with the battle item Eject Button. I think Shedinja Doll could also work with Face Stinger, because you already have a lot of mobility, but I think Eject Button is probably still the way to go. And then for emblems, we go 7 black and 6 green. Then the classic Duraludon, which is a very underestimated Pokemon. I also gonna have a Stealth Rock video coming up in a few days, which I like a lot. Just make sure you go Dragon Pulse, and you can either go Stealth Rock or Dragon Tail. Muscle Band, Scope Lens, Rapid Fire, Scarf, and Crit Emblems is the normal way to go. And for battle item, if you go for Dragon Tail, I would go Full Heal. And if you decide to go for Stealth Rock, I would recommend an Eject Button, since you will be lacking a bit of mobility. Then we have one of my favorite builds currently in the entire game, which is Stored Power Psybeam Espeon. I'm still recommending this build. If you haven't tried it yet, you should. It is very strong, very powerful, and very fun to play as well. Spoon, Vice Glasses with Choice Specs. Eject Button always, because with our Unite move, which is way too strong not to go anything else. Like, you just have to go Eject Button. Is a great engage tool, and also a bit more mobility on top of your Stored Power mobility. It just keeps you very safe. And for emblems as well, 7 black and 6 green. Next up, we have Icy Wind Glaceon, which I still think is a very strong build. Only should be played in Central Area though. I would not recommend you play this anywhere else. It's for sure a Central Area build, because it relies on blue buff. This build needs blue buff very badly to keep your Icy Wind at 8 Icicle crystals all the time. It's very, very important you keep it up for every single shard So you need blue buff, you need to go to central area. For that, we also have Shellbell with energy amplifier for more cooldown reduction, 7 blick, 6 green emblems, Spoon for a bit more damage, and then battle item either eject button or Shedinja Doll. I think Shedinja Doll in this Pokemon would also work, but eject button probably still a bit safer because you always jump in very aggressively. Right with Ice Event, you jump forward, so you might need the eject button to also move backwards after you jumped in. Even though Chandelure got nerfed, I think it's also still a very strong Pokemon with the Overheat and Imprison builds. Sadly, Flamethrower still not it. They didn't buff it, right? So it's still just not really something you want to play. But I think Overheat with either Imprison or Poltergeist is very, very strong. We have Spoon, Double Glasses, Classic 7 Black 6 Green Emblems, and also the Eject button. Heading into the Speedster category now. First one we have Doduo, which didn't get changed, so this Pokemon is absolutely insane. Drill Peck, Jump Kick currently the best build. I think Agility and Tri-Attack is also totally fine. Tri-Attack, Jump Kick is also totally fine. Held items for all these builds is pretty much the same. We go Attack Weight, Cookie, and Razor Claw. And for battle item, we go full heal. When I tried Agility, I liked Shedinja Doll a lot. So if you go for an agility-based build, you can actually try out this item. If you're not used to this item, don't play it. I wouldn't recommend if you just don't know how it really works. Otherwise, just full heal is always the safe choice. And for emblems as well, I'm not recommending the cooldown reduction build anymore because we have 6 brown, 6 white emblems, and that build is just superior. And now, this is my favorite build of the entire patch. I can't believe they actually buffed Solar Blade. I know, I mean, it was a bit worse, of course, but like, man, it feels absolutely insane now. I love it. I'm with so many games on it. I'm carrying games left and right. So Solar Blade with Leaf Blade. Aerial Ace is still quite bad. I don't really like it too much, and Leaf Blade also allows us to just get more Solar Blades, right? Because Leaf Blade charges up our passive, and if our passive is charged up, we get cooldown reduction onto our Solar Blade. So you can do like a Solar Blade, Leaf Blade, Solar Blade, have very low cooldown on it, very important. I play Attack Weight, Body Berry, and Energy Amplifier. Energy Amp, like the Unite has no cooldown anyways already, and you just have it up every single minute. An Energy Amp, you do an Energy Amp or like Unite move into a Solar Blade, and you can just wipe the entire team. It is absolutely insane how much damage this does together. And Body Barrier is just a bit of a safety tool. You can run Razor Claw, but I think this build doesn't need Razor Claw whatsoever, because you mainly be using your Leaf Blades and your Solar Blades. You're not going to be auto-taking out too much. And then Eject Button or Shedinja Doll is the head item. And then, of course, for emblems, we run 6 brown and 6 white. Zoroark is also a Pokemon that got nerfed, but I think it's still very, very strong. It has so much mobility, and it's something you have a hard time dealing with. Feint Attack and Shadow Claw, still the best bit in my opinion. Attack Weight, I'm changing my bit a tiny bit now to make up for the nerfs, I would say. I know Weakness Policy also got worse on this Pokemon now because the attack damage got nerfed, so Weakness Policy gets a bit less value. But in general, I think the Weakness Policy can just make up for the attack damage nerf that I just received, just dropping the Cookie, and then you can either go Energy Amplifier or Razor Claw as your last item, or Cookie as well still, I guess. Cookie, Razor Claw, Energy Amplifier, all very good items in the last spot, and then either Shedinja Doll or Full Heal. And then again, 6 white and 6 brown emblems. Might be risky of me to put Zeraora right here, but to me it felt very strong in my games at least. Playing against Zeraoras, they felt actually quite good as well. Playing it myself, I felt very strong with this Pokemon. So I think I'm going to start recommending it. Don't have to necessarily play this yet if you want to wait a tiny bit on more, you know, a bit more stats to really see how it's performing. But personally, to me, it felt quite good. Volt Switch and Discharge as the main build. Discharge also getting a buff on the latest patch makes it even stronger now. And for hate items, I'm never quite sure what I would like to play on this Pokemon. So I've been playing Weakness, Masse, and Razor Claw, but like Attack Weight is totally fine. We have Energy Amplifier, which is fine. Flowstone is fine. Focus Band is fine. Scope Lens is fine. All of these items are totally fine. Just try to find a good mix. I think Razor Claw is something I will always go. It's just after you Void Switch in, you can auto-tech slow them, keep them, you discharge a bit easier, right? Razor Claw is just the must-have item. I think Weakness Policy is just great for the passive as well. Zeraora gets more damage when he takes damage as well, so, you know, he just even gets more damage when he takes damage. And then Muscle Band just for a bit of early game. If you either go for Central or for Lane, it just gives you a bit of better early game. For battle item, you can either go Eject, Full Heal, X-Attack, or Shedinja Doll. I've been trying Shedinja Doll a lot, and I'm a big fan of this item, as you guys know, and I for sure like it a lot. Again, if you're not used to playing this item, just try something else for now, until you're like, yeah, maybe I want to try out some Shedinja Doll now. You can start practicing it. Until then, you can just play items you're more used to, of course, but I do think it's quite strong. Heading towards the Defender category, there's only 2 builds that I really can recommend right now. I think Defenders are kind of weird right now. After Umbreon, I really can't judge Umbreon yet, but the first one is Lapras. Perish Song Ice Beam is actually a very strong build right now. I don't know why, but it just feels very good to play. And we have Spoon with special specs and focus band and X speed as an item. And then we go for 6 white and 6 green emblems. And yeah, this build deals a lot of damage. It's a very good late game as well. Just make sure you farm and don't fight too much early game, because you really need level 11. You need Perish Song Plus. There it says the next basic attack after using this move becomes a boost auto attack. This is where you become very, very strong at level 11. Until then, don't try to overextend too much. Farm, you can still fight, of course, and I want you to fight, but just don't overdo it. Then Slowbro, of course. Slowbro is always good. The Unite move is just an absolute game changer. You can always Unite move the strongest enemy Pokemon and just completely make the game uneven. We can either go Skite or Surf. I actually think Surf is a bit better right now, but depending on who you play against, you should change it around. Both are very, very strong moves. Amnesia is superior to Telekinesis, so I would also recommend this right here. And then we go for Spoon, Focus Band, and XP Share. If you want to go for Skite, you can also maybe go with Choice Specs on top of it, or Special Specs if you want to be a bit more of like a carry defender. But XP Share is such an OP item right now that, you know, this is probably a bit, you know, better build. And then for Eject Button or Battle Item, I would always go Eject Button. And then another Pokemon where we go 6 white and 6 green emblems. Honestly, this Umbreon build is probably still totally fine as well. It's just very hard for me to judge because I really haven't played it myself much yet. And when I've seen other Umbreons, they really didn't just show up too much. So this is something you can probably still play. Is it currently one of the best builds? I honestly really can't tell right now. I have to put a bit more time into playing Umbreon. From what I've seen from my teammates and enemies, it didn't really seem too oppressive anymore. But just because it's not oppressive anymore doesn't mean it's bad now, right? Like, it's still a build that you can for sure carry on and get a lot of work done. And for the supports, we have 3 that I want to show. First one is Hooper. We go Hyperspace Portal, Phantom Force, Muscle Band, Rapid Fire Scarf, and XP Share. 7 red emblems for attack speed. Just love attack speed. Just auto-attacking. It's very strong doing its Unite move as well. You just summon your Hooper Unbound. You start auto-attacking your opponents, and they can't do much about it. Shedinja Doll is absolutely amazing on this Pokemon. If you don't want to play this item, just go X speed, and you're going to be totally fine. And even if your allies don't take Hyperspace Portal, Hooper just has so much damage in fights in general that you can just be very annoying to your opponents. And it's a Pokemon or a support that can pretty much have top damage every single game as well. Then I go to a classic Eldegoss, also with an attack speed build, Muscle Band, Rapid Fire Scarf, XP Share, and 7 red emblems. Another Pokemon we play either X speed or Shedinja Doll. And then for emblems, I also prefer 6 white and 6 green. For the moves, I like Point Puff and Cotton Spore currently the most. I don't like Leaf Tornado. I think Point Puff is just much superior, gives you much more healing. In general, it's just a better move. And then Cotton Spore gives you a bit more team fighting. And I think the stunts are quite nice. There's a lot of Speedsters right now, and if Speedsters have to dive in, you can press Cotton Spore, and it's much harder for, you know, the enemy Speedsters to actually dive your carries. And for the last build, Clefable, currently also a very, very strong support. XP Share, Body Barrier, and Special Specs with Moonlight and either Gravity. If the enemies have a lot of mobility, you go for Gravity. Otherwise, you just go for Follow Me. Both are totally fine. It just depends on who you play against. They pretty much have the same win rate. It just depends on the enemy team comp. And then for battle items, Shedinja Doll is also very, very good because it also is still active during your Moonlight. So if you get focused on a team fight, you can just press this, still have Moonlight, still heal your teammates. You still heal yourself as well. So it's a very strong combo. Again, if you don't like it, just go for X speed. But yeah, Shedinja Doll is for sure slowly starting. You have to start practicing because I think it's a very, very strong item. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I wish you the best of luck in your climb.